Okay, let me quickly go. So someone, Neha said, what is difference between developer scratch-off, enterprise scratch-off, and other scratch-offs? So it's basically like what are the features that you want in the scratch-off, like when you are working on that. So scratch-offs are all same, whatever it is. So whatever environment you want to see in the scratch-off, like say for instance, you may want to see some sample data if you're working on like developer edition, there is a configuration for that. Likewise, if you want to have some configurations copied from there, then you're going to create that particular type of scratch-off. It's only the edition which you want to use and the configurations you want to use. Otherwise, scratch-offs are all same. There's no difference. So for someone open default org failed to run, probably you would have forgot to set it as the default org. Rather, you should have created only a scratch out there. Okay. So if you are doing it from the command line, in that case, you'll have to use -s option to set it as the default org. Okay. Or if you are using the command palette, then definitely your default org should have been created. And you also notice that if you see this U sign beside your scratch org name, then the default org is set. For some sake, like if you miss that, you can always set your default scratch org using sfdx force config set. Force config, sorry. Now it's directly config. Earlier it used to be force config. Config set -h if you see. So there is something called as set default username. This is the example. You also go through this, but yeah, this is the command you can use. So you can say sfdx config set default default username equal to, and give that email address, whatever email address. For instance, if you miss this, give this email address. So the command is sfdx force config set default default username equal to. Let me copy it here. Okay, default username equal to, here you give your alias or whatever username there in your force org list. You can use that so that it will be set as the default org. Okay. That's about it. And when we create scratch out, do we have data also like we have in sandbox? Or yes. So there is an option for making the data available in the scratch out. So you have the data available in the scratch out, just like your developer edition. Will we have the objects and layouts copied to scratch out? It's like a copy of temp sandbox. Yes, you can get an objects and layouts to the scratch out. Just like in your sandbox and all, you can do that. And there's also if you are using sandbox, there's again two ways of working in the Salesforce DX. One by using the scratch outs, but if you want to use sandbox directly, you can also connect it to the sandbox or your org directly, and you can work. In that case, you can also have something called as org browser here. So when we do that, you will get a new icon here called org browser, from where you can also get all the metadata directly. Okay. Again, that's a bit complex at this point of time, but in future you're going to see how to work with the sandboxes as well. How to open Scratcher from the CLI, I already showed. It is simple command sfdx force or open. And yeah, 4 more minutes. I'm on the page. How to see the source of code of first component. So Abby, I probably haven't got your question right. So you're in which page? Salesforce page or whatsoever. So actually, you can only see the source code of the first component on your system. You would have written, just like me. For now, if you haven't written, don't worry. We are going to do a batch before we go, a quick batch, as I said, it will be done in 10 or 15 minutes, where you are going to write your first component. You're going to see the source code. You can follow along with me hands-on. I'll do it for you. And you can also, I'll wait for you to do. So we'll do it step by step at a time. What are the tools need to be installed for LWC? There is nothing except for Salesforce CLI and VS Code if you are using VS Code with Salesforce extensions. So that we have in your badge as well, Trailhead badge. If you complete any of these two Trailhead badges, you see, I also shared this link. If you complete this quick start, Lightning Web Components, you would have done that already. Okay, you'll get the CLI installed, you'll get the Visual Studio Code installed, or the badge that I shared with you earlier, like setting up the Lightning Web Component developer tools. So if you do any of these two badges, you would have installed that. And if you see, this badge takes only, it says 25 minutes, but I would say it takes not more than 15 minutes. So try to open default or using command parrot, and the following error came, error running force or open spawn unknown. So that might be because you not have given the default org, you not have set the default org. So as I've said earlier, you can use sfdx config set minus set default username and this command q sfdx config set. Okay, if you use this command, it will be set, after which it should not fail. Force alias list, force alias set. Very good. Who is Akash? Thanks for sharing these commands. So these are the commands. Okay, you can use those commands. But yeah, force alias list will show the list of aliases, so on and so forth. Anyways, if you're stuck somewhere, right, I would give one what we call tip. I would say. Because I'm basically, I've done work in different technologies, including Java, C, C++, whatnot, over my career. And I'm a very big fan of CLI for that matter. So one of the commands that you can use is like, so you can use sfdx force. Okay. So if you don't know which command you are searching for, say maybe you can say force and then give a pipe, and you can give grep. There's a command called grep minus I. Say I want to search for a keyword called alias. So if I do that, it is going to find the alias. In this case, it doesn't have alias. Or maybe say I want to search for open. Let me go. Okay, SFDX force only lists that. SFDX. Yeah, so if you can say SFDX, and if you say grep minus I, let me clear it. Okay, it gives the alias command. So if you want to search all the commands in force, so you can see SFDX force and then want to search for a specific command, you can do that. Anyways, don't really worry about it. But yeah, so it's very easy. You can go for SFD. If you don't know, the simple thing to do is say SFDX and say enter. And from here, you can search for a specific thing, force. You explore it. Like after this session, you say SFDX alias, let me say, minus H. It will give all the possible commands. Okay, alias list, alias set. You learn about each of these things. Now you want to learn about alias list. Say SFDX alias colon list minus H. You'll get that command. Okay, this is how you can learn the CLI. And someone asked somewhere, I don't remember, but asked, is there any common place where we can find all the commands? You can do that. So simply search for Salesforce CLI commands. Okay, so this is a complete command reference. Salesforce CLI command reference. You have alias namespace, auth, config, force, namespace. You go to force. In that force, you can see the commands for for working with Apex, what are the commands? For working with data, what are the commands? Lightning commands, so on and so forth, org commands. So if you go to org, you can find all your org list, all kinds of commands. Okay, so you have force org list and all. You can get into that command and see the complete documentation. Whatever you're seeing in the CLI, same thing you are going to see here as well. Okay, along with your examples and all that stuff. Okay, you have commands and what are the different examples and all for the complete set of commands. Okay, there's a lot. So, um, cool. And I'll take some of the questions towards the end also. If I missed any of your questions, don't worry. You can repost the questions towards the end of the session. So let's get back to the session and see how we can improve our component. Okay. Now, we have created a component. What did you do? What did we do so far? We have just created a project. It has created the complete project structure. And whatever open files are here, and just close it. Just get acquainted to VS Code. I'll tell you, it's going to be very easy. And if you press this collapse button, it's going to collapse. It's going to show the complete. And if you want to create a folder, you can create from here. If you want to create a file, you can create. If you want to refresh, you can refresh that. Okay. Now what we have done, we have created a project called Chennai LWC SFDX project. In that, we have created a Lightning Web component, first component. Okay, you can also search for the component. So shortcuts are really useful. One of the shortcuts we already saw is Command Shift P or Control Shift P, right? Which is used to launch the command palette. Okay, this we have done. There is one more command called Control P if you are on Windows, and if you are on Mac, it is Command P. If you say Command P, if I want to search for any component, I can directly give the component name and I can search for the component here. It shows my all the files with that particular name. So this is an easy way of finding the files instead of going to force app main, LWC, first component, and then opening the file. So that's one Visual Studio Code tip, I would say. And at the same time, at the top, you are seeing this. This is called breadcrumb. If you click this, you can open files from here also, first command.js, and again at that folder level. So these shortcuts, there's a lot of time for you to learn, but I'll cover a few more tips towards the end of the session. But now I want to improve this component. It says hello Chennai, and when I go and see it in the in my page, okay. So I think it's in the sales app we have added. This really doesn't look good. If you see this component and this component doesn't look good. So what we can do is we can improve this component. So I said we can build the experience component by using a lot of base components, whatever base component you want to use. So here, if you see, this is a card component actually, in which they have created some other component. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll try to use a card component for our component. To do that, we can go back to your component reference. So I said you bookmark this component reference. So when you go to the developer guide, so there is a menu at the top, and go to component reference. Here you can search for different components. Okay, so both Aura components as well as the Lightning Web components. At the top, you can see Lightning Web components. So you can search for a specific component. You can open any of these components here, say accordion. What it does is it shows the component description here. It gives the component description here. Okay, a very short description here and a long description here. And it shows an example also. So how does the accordion work? So it's a basic, there are different kinds of examples, basic accordion with conditional section, so on and so forth. So if I select the basic accordion, it shows the preview here at the bottom. This is a preview. This is an accordion tile A. If I expand, it goes here. Okay, so I can even close it. So I can open accordion tile B, accordion tile C, so on and so forth. And the good part is, this is a kind of living documentation, a live documentation, where you can also play with the example. So they showed you the example. So it also shows the example code at the bottom. Here you can play with the code. For instance, here it says accordion title A, right? Let me go here. And in this example, let me zoom it. Okay, so you see this example, instead of accordion title A, I would say like accordion Chennai. Simply said accordion Chennai. I'll unzoom it, and you can see it has changed it here. So what you can do is you can learn about these components whenever. So again, you may not learn each and every component there. Whenever you require a component, see if the component serves the functionality. Even better, you ask Google Mother, you go type there, I want to have this functionality, probably suggest a component there, come here, search for that component, see the example, play with the example, copy paste the code and use it. For instance, in our case, I want to use a card component. So I have card component here. Okay. Just like accordion, we have the description, like short description, long description, and then example. There are different types of cards here. Basic card, card with narrow variant. If you select card with narrow variant, it shows that particular card. It shows the preview. This is the narrow variant preview. Okay. Or if you want basic card, you can use the basic card. It's up to you. You can take the preview. Let me say card with narrow variant. I'll take this preview. Let us say. Okay, and you can see the code here. So what I will do is, and you can also see there's a HTML code, there's also a JavaScript code. Okay, there's nothing, the JavaScript code looks very similar to what we currently have here. You see first component JavaScript code, it's the same code. So nothing to change. Here I want to use this styling. So what I can do is, I can copy this code. Let me copy this lightning card. Go back here and okay, let me paste it here. Okay, I want to use that kind of styling. Okay, and again, when I save it, it automatically indents because prettier is already there in my project. Now let's see. So what I can do is, I can use this Hello Chennai. If you see this card, you see this card here. Card has a title. Okay, card has some body, card has some footer. Okay, it also has a button here, right, with no functionality at the moment. So you can use it. Any of these components, if you don't want, you can also remove that. Okay, so here in this case, so I have a button here. I don't want this button. Sorry, I don't want this button. I want to remove this button. Okay, because I don't have any functionality. So let me simply remove that button. Okay, and in fact, I can try it here itself. If I remove that button, I don't want this button. I remove it. Okay, you see that button has gone. So now the example looks better for me, right? So I can make whatever changes I want. I can make here and then copy it from here. I can take this and copy it here, paste it. You know, I have this card body. I want to show this Hello Chennai text there. So I'll cut it from here and then simply paste it here. Okay, let us save it. Cool. And footer also, I want to give some footer information. I'll say Chennai user group. I want to give some footer there. Okay, let us save it. Now that we save it, now what I need to do is I need to push this code to the scratch out. So how do I do that? Again, I can use Command Shift P and I want to push the code. Push source to default scratch out. Let's select this. Okay, now I push the source to default scratch out and it says it has successfully run. If there is any problem or error, you can see it in the output. It shows in the output. Okay, if there are any problems here, it shows the problems as well. This problem we'll tackle it later, don't worry. But it shows the problem as well. Now, if you go back here, go to our home page. Okay, the Hello Chennai component, it doesn't show up yet. Let's refresh the page. Now we push the changes, right? Let's refresh the page. Now you can see that this component looks great. Hello with a Hello Chennai and it says Chennai user group at the, it looks a little better, right? This is how you can create the component. You can use wherever possible. You can use the component reference. Okay, you can use the component reference, make changes here, copy paste it and run it. See how it works. Okay, and here, if you see, there is something called as, if you see this base card, right? It has some styling as well. It is saying like it has given a variant. So base components comes with variants. So the other example we saw is basic. Okay, here if you see, there are 3 variants. You have a basic card, narrow variant, or custom title card. So all of these base components comes with variants. You can see which variant fits you better. You can select that particular card and the copy the code from here. Okay. So here we have took the narrow variant. That's the reason we are seeing a narrow variant here. And then you have a title. So we have given hello as the title. If you want to change the title to something else, you can do that. You can also use icon name. Again, this icon is from the SLDS. So one more reference I want you to make is SLDS. Okay, SLDS Salesforce. So lighting design system. You also bookmark this lighting design system. Okay, so whatever you are getting, in fact, like icons and all, you are getting it from there. So you can say standard account. You can search for this. I got it from here somewhere. I'll search for standard account. Okay, right. Or I can go to icons. In fact, I can go to icons, and you can see a lot of icons here. So I got the standard icon name from somewhere here. Standard account. These are the default icons. You can use any of these icons here for your component. So I took one of the icon from there. Again, SLDS is again a deeper subject. You need not really break your head at this point of time, at least. You need not really worry about SLDS. So take the base components, whatever styling you have, you modify it. And here, if you see, there's a class SLDS P horizontal small. Okay, this is also one of the SLDS styling. It should have defined in the SLDS class. Okay, so this is the styling, how it looks. So you have an example for like small and all, how the small work, how the large work. There's a lot of documentation, but this is how an SLDS styling looks. So here I'm not using CSS. So if you see here, our component got a similar experience, just like other lighting experience components. That's because of that SLDS styling that we have adopted here, where I use this class. So you're going to learn about SLDS styling also in the future as you go. There is a separate module, Trailhead module, even if it is not covered in the syllabus. You can go back and refer to the Trailhead module on how to get started with the SLDS. Okay, this is how the styling works. Any questions so far? Awesome. Right. Thanks, Vijit, for sharing the icons. Is the same URL. So you can physically see the icons and all. Does Emmet work with LWC tags? Yeah, it works. There are few Emmets that you can use along with the LWC tags and all. Again, you can probably learn because there are many new developers here. You can learn the Emmets here. You can try out a different Emmets. So it works. It works with the LWC tags. Not only that, if you observe when I created the metadata component, I have created my own Emmet kind of thing. So here targets, I have not typed targets. So what I've done is, so if you see here, I've created a shortcut. This I've created just using the Emmet kind of syntax, and then created that so that I can paste it, whatever. You can create your own shortcuts. Again, that's for another day. There's a lot you can do with the Visual Studio Code. All the features that you have with Visual Studio Code, almost all the features you can use with the SLDS. Yeah. Emmets are like shortcuts which you can use to autofill the code. Deepak. So you can type VS Code Emmet, and then it will give you shortcuts for the for auto coding. Okay, so for HTML, for instance, if you type H and press tab, it's going to create the complete skeleton structure. If you type say HTML5 and tab, it's going to create a skeleton structure for you. So these are like shortcuts, just like I created targets here. Okay. I can learn a lot of Visual Studio Code features just by Googling. Any other questions? If I missed, you can just post the questions here. See, yeah, He has given try H dollar star 5 heading dollar and all. So it's going to create like five headers for you when you hit the tab. So it creates the tab space and all. So all these things you can use. Again, as I said, it's all together for a different session. Any questions? If not, I'll quickly show you one last thing, and then you can work on the quick start batch. SFDX authorize an arc you're not able to see means you have not created SFDX project. Authorize an arc. So this is context sensitive. When you say Command Shift P, SFDX, you are seeing so many SFDX commands. Okay, but if you probably you are seeing only 4 SFDX commands. If you're not seeing authorize an arc, that's because you have not created the project. This is how context sensitive. When you create a project, it shows the relevant commands. When you are working on Apex, it shows the relevant commands. So it doesn't confuse you by showing too many commands here. Rather, it shows the relevant commands there. Do you have to install an extension for this? Obviously, Salesforce extension pack. You'll have to install Salesforce extension pack, Neha. Then you'll be able to see all the SFDX commands. Anyway, in the quick start batch, you are going to do all of that. Don't worry. So let's go ahead and see one last resource which I want to share with you. Because there were some questions around GitHub repository as well, and there were some questions around: is there any place where we can have some sample code which we can copy, paste, and start using it? One is of course base components if you want to work with the base components, but otherwise, we developer education team at Salesforce has created something called a sample gallery. You can search for LWC sample gallery. Okay, so this is a sample gallery. If you go, open it. You can see a lot of sample applications here. Okay, one of the applications is LWC recipes, which is like short examples, how to use the text, how to do the dynamic binding. You are going to learn all those concepts from tomorrow on. But yeah, so it's going to show you some short examples. You can take the examples from there and start using those examples. So this is very, very important and easy to use collection of small examples of LWC, which you can use, which I'll install, deploy, and show it how it works. And e-bikes is one sample application which deals with a fictitious store, electric bike selling store, and you can see how different use cases related to stores. If you are interested in integrations and see how the integrations work, we have created a recipe called e-cars, where we have integrated Heroku with Salesforce, and then showed all possibilities of getting the data between different applications. And Apex recipes, you have a design patterns for Apex, trigger patterns, different kinds of design patterns which you can refer to. Similarly, Dreamhouse is one of our very first sample application, which deals with a property realtor, okay, a real estate business, how the different use cases related to the real estate business. And all of these things are built using the Lightning Web Components. And if someone is going to take a career marketing cloud, then you have a AMP email demos. This is relevant to the marketing cloud. And similarly, we have AZ Incidents, which deals with the experience cloud. So there are some recipes, some use cases related to the experience cloud in AZ Incidents. And then we also have LWC recipes open source. So LWC recipes, as I said, LWC can be used on Salesforce platform as well as off Salesforce platform. Even outside Salesforce platform, you can use LWC like any other general JavaScript. If someone is working on a Java application and wants to use LWC as a front end, he can use it. Okay, so we also open sourced it, and there is a different way of working with the LWC recipes there. There's a separate guide which you can follow, and it has all the easy to digest examples there. Similarly, we have Easy Spaces, and again, Easy Spaces is one sample application which deals with unlocked packages, how to use those packages and all. So that kind of examples you can find in Easy Spaces sample app. And Visual Force to LWC, if someone is from old school and who are working on the Visual Force projects and they want to migrate Visual Force to LWC, what we have done is we took Visual Force concepts, we took the LWC concepts, we found the equivalent LWC concept of Visual Force and showed some use cases and examples on how to migrate it from Visual Force to LWC. Okay. Similarly, we have Redwood's Insurance, which specifically deals with the mobile applications. If you are working on native iOS or Android mobiles, it's for you. But for now, you really need not worry about this thing. And automation components deals with flows. So different flows are flow samples are implemented in the automation components. I'll show you one of the examples on how to use that. Use the sample gallery, then you can explore rest of the things as you go forward in your career. Don't try to rush. Don't try to work on all of these things today or tomorrow. It's not the right time. So as you go and get some experience, you see what relevant application suits you, where you can find examples and start working on those applications. Okay. So LWC recipes, let's see, because this is one of the important things. Let's quickly see LWC recipes. So you can click this image, or you can click on view on GitHub. It's going to take you to GitHub. Okay. So let me click on this. So this is the external resource or version control system I was talking about, Git repository, right? So I have saved all my code. If you see the same Salesforce DX project structure, we are seeing Force app here. Go back, you can see the same structure. If I close this, everything here, so you can see the same structure, Force app, config, blah, blah, blah. The same kind of structure. You can see Force app, config, blah, blah, blah. So what we have done is we have created this application, an LWC application, and stored it in the GitHub repository. Now, there is a question, what happens if I delete the scratch out? My work is gone. So your work is going to be saved here. You're going to check in your work here. Okay. Whenever you want, you can check out the work. So how do we do that? Let me copy this. Let's go to code. You can say code. And here you have clone. If you don't understand, if you don't remember what I'm talking today, don't worry. So every sample gallery application has a README file here. Okay, if you go down, README file, here you have table of contents in which it shows how to install the application using a scratch out. Simply follow the steps. Okay. And you will be able to install it in the scratch out. It has all the commands you can see. So it is authorizing your MyHub, developer hub org. Here you are cloning. This is the command you are using to check out the code. Okay, git clone command. You are getting the command. Then you are creating a scratch out here. Then you are pushing the code. You are assigning the permission sets. You are importing the data there, and finally you are opening and seeing how it works. Okay, I'll show all of these things in a very simple step. Let's do. I'll do it and show you. Later you can try it by yourself. I'll copy it. I can go back. I can go back to any of the command lines actually here. Or I can even do it here if I want. But let me do it here. Present working directory. Let me go to desktop. Okay, I want to check out it on the desktop. Okay, cool. So here what I would do is, or I can go to any of my directories. So if I go do it on desktop, probably I'll delete the project down the line.
Can you show how to get to this screen? How do you get to this screen?
Okay. If you are using Windows, you can use your bash, or you can use your command there. If you are using Mac or Unix, you can use terminal. So it's an application. I'll open that application from here. It should be here also on the left side. This is the terminal. You can go here. It's not necessary if you want to do it from Visual Studio Code itself. You can do it from there. So let me show it from Visual Studio Code. Okay, what I'll do is I'll close this project. I'll close this folder. But again, you can launch command in Windows, or shell in Unix, or terminal in your Mac operating system. Okay, in Visual Force, I'll open the command. I'll say terminal, new terminal. Let me maximize it so that it will be easy for you. Okay. So if you see present working directory, I'm here. So whichever directory I want to start working on, I can do that. I can go to the directory. I have a folder called My Folders. I'll go there. Or you can even do it on the desktop. CD development. I think there's something called as, okay, LWC. These are all I've created. It's up to you. CD. It can be any folder for that matter. I took such a long folder structure. Don't worry. You can open any folder here. So what you can do is you can go here. And again, as I said, you better follow these instructions at the bottom. Because I would have done this at least, say, 500 or 1,000 times, I'm directly doing it. I'm going to code. I'll say, this is going to copy. In fact, I'm going to copy this link. Okay. I just copied it. And from the terminal, I'll use the command git clone and I'll paste that URL. So this is the URL I copied from there. Okay. LWC recipes kit. So when I do this, it is going to get all my LWC recipes, that application is going to check out the code. Let's see how it works. Okay. It has checked out the code. If I say ls here in Windows, you would have said dir. You can see LWC recipes directly. Okay. You can say cd LWC recipes. Strictly speaking, I have followed these instructions. So what I've done here is, because I already authorized, I did not do this. I've done git clone, this command, and then I've done cd LWC recipes. I've just gone there. Okay. And then you can open that folder here. Visual Studio Code. So if you see, currently it's not open. So let's open the folder which I've just checked out. So I checked out that folder in my folders, development, somewhere. Yeah, it's an LWC. I'll just open that folder in my Visual Studio Code. Once I do that, you can see my complete project files are here. Okay. And there's also a, yeah. So don't worry about these errors here. It throws some errors. Why? Because when we create a project, so I said it's going to give you the linter, it's going to give you the prettier and all. In this project, we have all of these things in place. So it's like a Node.js project where you have something called as package.json. So here you can see, like, no, you have prettier, you have pre-commit and all, or linter and all, a different set of tools which comes out of the box. Don't worry about those things at the moment. I just got the project in my box. That's it. I checked out the project and it's available. Now what I can do is I can install it, create a scratch app and install it. And those steps again, you can see here. Here you are creating a scratch app and provide it with an alias. And then you're going to push. So you're going to run all of these commands step by step. So what we have done is, over a period of time, we saw people like doing all of these things one step at a time. Rather than doing that, why not do the things easy for the developers out there? So what we have done is we have created a script file here in bin folder. We have created a install scratch.sh file. If you are using Windows, you can use install scratch.batch file. So what it does is it runs all of these commands, whatever commands you're seeing in your README. So it's going to run all of these commands. So let me do that. So what I can do here is, so in the project structure, I'll go to the bin and I have install scratch.sh. Okay. So if I open, so it's going to do all of those steps for me. It cleans any previous scratch out, it creates a scratch out, so on and so forth. So I'll simply run this command. I'll drag this command and put it in my terminal. Okay. Or you can type the command if you are more keen on typing. I just drag the command and put it here and I'm running it. When I press enter, this shortcut way, again, too many things in a single day, don't worry. So I want you to get started with recipes. So this is an easy way to do. So I just dragged it and just press enter. So it is running all of those commands all at once for me. You can see that currently it is creating a scratch up. So let me expand it. So it's currently creating a scratch up. I'm not doing anything. I just ran that binary command, shell command. But again, if you're doing it for the very first time, I encourage you to do that step by step, right from the README file. That's because you'll understand what's happening exactly. So creating scratch-up would take some time. In the meanwhile, if you have some questions, it takes like a minute or so. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask your questions. See, it's already pushing. It has created a scratch-out successfully. You can see it has given that, and it is pushing the code. So I have like 201 recipes altogether, 201 sample examples. Okay, it's a lot. And as we get new releases, we keep on adding the new samples to it. For instance, I have recently added 2 samples to that. One which deals with the dynamic interactions, and the other one which deals with the data tables. Yeah. So by default, good, Amar. I think you have answered someone's question. Yeah, scratch off by default, it is 7 days. But if you want to make it for 30 days, you can do that. How to open and connect to the existing application. Yeah, so we have used SFDX force source push, right? Which is going to push the source code there. But if you want, you can also pull the source. If you want to get the existing LWC application from your scratch out, then you are going to use the pull command. Okay, and equivalent commands, if you are working with sandbox or production org, the equivalent commands are deploy. Instead of push, you'll be using the command called deploy. And instead of pull, you'll be using the command called retrieve. So as you learn the concepts from tomorrow on, you are going to see how to work with production as well as sandbox as well. Yeah, to learn how LWC works with real-time projects, what can be done if there is no experience. That's why we have created the sample apps. All the sample apps that I showed just now are near real-time kind of applications. So you'll find, what we generally do is we interact with the developers. We take the real-time requirements, and we implement it in the sample applications. So that's how we have created sample applications. And you can see it has run all the commands, and it has also run SFDX force or open command for me, and it was opened the sample application here. This is the LWC sample application. Okay, recipes application. If you see, we already have written a hello program, right? Hello LWC component earlier. So this component looks almost like that, a similar example. So we have different recipes, different examples, which deals with basic LWC, like hello binding, hello world kind of examples. Or if you want to work with, say, some kind of data, so we have data service. Similarly, if you want to work with one of the base components called data table, when you want to work with a list of records, you can even do that. So you can work with Apex, you can work with contacts. So these are all different examples. Now let me show you how you can refer to an example. For instance, I want to get started. I want to learn this, how to create a hello example. So what we have done is, while creating the samples, we made sure that we name this, we give the titles to each of these examples so that it will be easy for you to search. If you want to see the source code, we also given a view source here, a link. If you click that, it will take you to the GitHub repository, to the exact location where you can find the files, hello.html, hello.js, and metafile. You can go and see that example here. But again, if you are not really keen on seeing those examples on the GitHub repository, you can even do that right from your Visual Studio Code. I'll show you how to check that example in Visual Studio Code. And what I'll do is, let me copy this title. Go to Visual Studio Code. Okay, I'll minimize this. And in fact, I can also close the terminal. Whenever I want, I can open the terminal. Now this screen looks better. Let us clean it up. Let's move this file. I can also collapse this browser just by activity bar. this Project Explorer by clicking this. Now I can see the full screen. Now let me open. I can say Control P to search in Windows or Command P, and I'll paste that name here, hello, and it's going to show the hello related components all. So I want to see hello.html file. Let's see that. So this is the exact example, hello.html, where you are seeing hello, comma world. And if you see here, so here something called hello, comma, there's greeting. You'll learn about this thing tomorrow in detail. But yeah, this is a property which is defined in the JavaScript file. And the rest of the things, see, he has used the lighting card. Okay, he has just used the div here, where he has placed this. He has used SLDS styling. And then there is a view source. This is another component. So one lighting component can be embedded in another lighting component. That's how we build the experience components, right? So here we have the view source component embedded. And you can see it's JavaScript file as well. Either you can go here, or you can, if you open the Project Explorer, it will highlight automatically wherever you are in the Explorer. It will highlight this one when you open the Project Explorer, and you can see all the related files. You can see the JavaScript file. You can see the metadata file. If you see the metadata file, see, you can see that it is exposed, so that it is available in the app builder, and it is available for all the things: app page, record page, as well as the home page. Okay, and if you see hello.js, we did not talk anything about hello.js earlier also. So this is the common structure it has given. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are importing a lighting element, and here you can see LWC. Normally, if you are working on JavaScript, there are different frameworks, right? Like Vue.js, React.js, so on, so different kinds of frameworks. How do you work on each of those frameworks? What those frameworks does is they create a library, and you can import that library and start using the library. And this import kind of statement, if you see, it probably looks like your Apex program, right? Where you import something and work like this. JavaScript was not like this earlier. JavaScript evolved over a period of time. Okay, and JavaScript 6+ onwards, like this has evolved a lot, and a lot of object orientation got into the JavaScript. It included like the concepts like modules, classes, so on and so forth. That's why it has become really easy. Now, in order to get an external library into your JavaScript, it's as simple as like importing that library into your JavaScript. And here what we're doing is exactly that. So LWC framework is implemented in a library called LWC. And from that framework, we are getting a class called lightning element. And why lightning element? Lightning element, in fact, internally, when within this framework, lightning element overloads the HTML element. That's why your LWC component looks like a HTML element there. In your that's how we are using, wherever we are using the LWC component itself like a HTML element, like any other HTML element. Okay, so here we are extending that, and that's the reason, because we are extending this lightning element, and whatever logic you want to write, you can write it here. This element, this hello itself, is available to you to use as a custom element, custom HTML element, right? We already have standard HTML elements. Now we have custom HTML elements. So let me show you here. Now I have hello HTML, right? I deployed it in my org. Let me open the developer tools here. You can open the developer tools from I think from window or somewhere. You can open the developer tools. Or there is a shortcut, Control Option I or Command Option I, which opens your developer tools. And let's examine one of the elements. Let's see this component, how it looks like when it is loaded in the browser. Now I'll select this. If I select this component, you see this component. Let me zoom it. See, it is a C minus hello. This component is listed as C minus hello. Again, what is the C? C is a namespace. All the Lightning Web components have a namespace. Okay, and in fact, it can be one of the two namespaces, at least for now. One is Lightning namespace. The other one is C namespace. C is custom namespace. When we use C, it indicates that this is a custom component. So hello is a custom component. And within that, we have used a lightning card. You see lightning namespace. So anything which starts with lightning.
Can you show how to open the bottom panel here?
Sure. Okay, bottom panel. You can open it from your menu here. I think it is, or else you can open from here also. You can click here, 3 dots in your Chrome browser. Okay, and you have more tools, and from more tools you can go to developer tools. Let me zoom it. Okay, let me zoom here. So when you press the 3 dots, you have more tools here. From that you have developer tools. When you click this developer tools, it's going to open up the bottom pane.
Satya, I had a question.
Yeah.
Where we have written our Lightning Web component, right? The JS file. There we have used import keyword and export keyword, right?
Yes.
So I did not get why on one line we are writing import and the other line we are writing export. Why is it so?
Yeah, your name?
I'm Aishwarya.
Aishwarya, it's a very good question. So what we're doing here is, when I say import, okay, I'm getting something from this particular framework, this particular library, LWC library. So I'm getting a Lightning element class from LWC library. And actually my class definition is this, that's all. Okay, class hello extends Lightning element. But again, if I want to use this code in some other component, okay, some other Lightning Web component, in that case, I need to export it. Okay, export it and also make it as default so that it will be available. They should be able to see it. Okay, so that's the reason I'm using the export keyword here, so that this component, hello component, can be used in somewhere else as well as you go forward to reuse the component. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you. And Satya, one more request. Can you please send us the steps of GitHub project, like how we are pushing and all? Is it possible?
Yeah. In fact, the simplest way is go here, search for sample gallery, and go to the particular LWC recipes app. Okay. Select it. Anyway, I'll send the steps, but yeah, it's as simple as said. So once you open that, if you go to README, right, so you can see installing app using a scratch-out.
Okay.
Click that. These are the steps. You blindly follow the steps and it will be done for you.
Okay.
Scratch.org is for the GitHub or it's for the Lightning Web component?
Scratch.org is for Lightning Web component. So this README file is like how to get started with the repository. If you see, there are only source files. There are no instructions on how to use those source files, right? So you can use the Scratch.org. So these are the steps only. There's only a documentation. I would say documentation. The Scratch.org has nothing to do with GitHub. This is
Means if
documentation.
we install with these steps, so means we can able to log into the GitHub. No, yeah, right?
In fact, to use the GitHub, you'll have to create a GitHub account, which is a simple step process. But just for using, you need not create a GitHub account. If you want to log in and see, you'll have to create a GitHub account. For this one, you need not really worry. All the steps are defined here. Nothing. You'll have to install Git. So I'll do one thing. Let me do one thing. Let me share one second. To answer all your questions, because we want to work with sample gallery. Okay, this particular Trailhead module starts from google.com and how to go ahead with all of these things. Let me paste this URL. You can blindly follow this Trailhead module, which is going to be helpful. Okay, follow this URL. You have quick start, not only for the sample gallery, you also have quick start for e-bikes, LWC recipes, and all. I don't know if we have a sample for LWC recipes, but for other applications, you have all of those things. You can just follow this. This is for LWC recipes. You can get started from here.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Satya.
Yeah, cool. And you can also, if you want to learn more about Git, you can. There are also modules on Git. Okay, how to create a Git account. So you can learn this Git and GitHub basics. So this one will be useful if you want to get started with Git altogether. Okay, so yeah, this is hello example, and you see one thing you can notice when I have named this component, this folder name, I given it started with hello. If it's a multi-word, here if you see, it starts with small case and then capital case. If it is 3 words, it is like hello conditional rendering, small, capital, and capital. Okay, that's how it works. And if you see hello.js, the class name starts with capital case. So these are all like standard naming notations. And if you see this component, if you want to use this component somewhere, and it looks like this. So this is a developer console. I would say developer tools. It's a Chrome debugging tool actually. It's a very huge tool. Again, it takes a course of 5 days or 6 days to really learn everything about it. But yeah, what's more interesting here is you can examine your component and see like, here I'm pressing this arrow mark. So here I'm selecting an element in the page to inspect it. Okay. So I select this and then select any of the elements, and it shows the code here, source code. And here you can see this is how it looks, C minus hello. And in future, if I create a all hello, some kind of application there, a very big Lightning Web component. In that, if I want to embed C minus hello, I can simply say C minus hello, I can use something like this in the actual component, not in hello, but let us take in some other component. Maybe say hello binding.html. I want to use the hello component here. So what I can do is simply I can say C minus hello. I can use this component. And that's it. That component will be embedded here. Within hello binding, you're seeing a hello component. Likewise, you can reuse the components. You can see you're using just like your HTML element, right? The only difference is this is a custom element and you can easily identify it with this C hyphen. That's all. That's actually a lot for today, for one day. I thought the theory will generally be completed in say 2 hours max. I think it took almost 2.5 hours. Again, if you want to do one of the quick starts with me, I'm ready to do. Or if you want to try it out yourself later, you can still do that. If you have any questions, you can also ping me on Twitter. Send a direct message. Don't tweet it. Rather, send a direct message to Satya SFDC. And you can also follow me, for any updates generally happen on the Salesforce platform, writing web components and all. I'll be giving those updates. And I work a lot on the developer tooling as well. So I'm doing a couple of sessions in Trailblazer DX as well. And I'll also come up with certain blogs and videos. So any questions you can ask me. Please take one more session explaining the sample gallery. That will help us. Sure. Let me see because I'm traveling soon 2 years for some time. So I'll see what best I can do. But if it is possible, definitely I'll take one session on sample gallery along with best practices and tips for using tools. Once you complete the Lightning Web Components, you can complete your complete course, LWC course, after which sometime later, definitely we'll have one more session as part of this 100 days learning, most probably. If not, at least as a separate session as well, no worries. I'll take something for you for sure. So, any VS Code extension for LWC shortcuts? Actually, if you go to LWC, you can see some of the shortcuts here. So if you say type LWC, So there's a shortcut. So what we have done is we already created some of the shortcuts for you. This is a syntax which you are going to learn in next coming days. But yeah, so you can use these shortcuts. Like say, if I say LWC for each, it's going to write the complete template for you, the syntax for you. You only need to fill the values in between. Okay. Likewise, we have some shortcuts here. But again, there's no need of any Trailhead module as well, because if you type LWC wherever relevant, it shows the shortcuts. So if it is for HTML, similarly, if you go to JavaScript file, okay, if you say LWC here, there are JavaScript related shortcuts. Maybe you want to, when you're working on Apex, you want to or when you're working on like toast message you're creating via Apex, or you're working on Apex code, there are shortcuts for all of those things. Okay. We are working on Lightning message services. As you keep learning, as you go forward, you can see those shortcuts. So if I say LWC imperative Apex, it's going to get all that. We only need to fill those things. But again, as you go forward, you can get into shortcuts. You'll definitely become a big fan of shortcuts for sure. I know. My email, I can share my email for sure, but again, send an email only if it is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, it will be like too many of emails pouring in. This is my email. You can reach me if you want to reach me on email for sure, with any questions for that matter. So what do you want to do? You want to do a quick start or else let's take a voting. How to check source code from GitHub without downloading this app? Obviously, you have to go to GitHub and directly open. You need to know those files. But again, I would say, as a beginner, you better go and check out the code and see. But once you already know, you can directly go to LWC and see, I want to see the hello component. I can go here and open the hello component and see its source code, copy it from here into my wherever I want, and then start using it. Okay. You can navigate the complete folders. So you have the same folder structure. Okay. Everyone wants to do quick start. So let's quickly do that. It will not take much time. If you already set up, let me do that. So I'll say LWC basics. Okay, Lightning Web Components basics. Not when basics. Better to go to the trail. Build Lightning Web Components. Bookmark this trail. Finally, give a quick overview of Trailblazer 22. Yeah, for sure. So what I would do is, we'll do the quick start. In between, I'll talk about the Trailblazer DX22, what exactly it is. Okay. So I want everyone to open this quick start Lightning Web Components. Go here. Let me send that URL here. Please open this. Again, so one thing is you can do it the second time, I would say, to get the score, whatever 75 points you want to get from this module, you can do it. So I'm going to show you how to do it without Playground. Okay, you can do it with Playground. In order to get the score, you'll have to do it in the Playground because it's going to check whether you have done it or not. But for now, you just follow me because you want to learn it, and we are going to do it. So it has few steps. You need not read it at this moment because I have already done maybe again 5 or 10 times if I'm, or even more. So here it's a 3-step module. So we have set up your Salesforce DX environment, where you're going to set up your environment like Salesforce CLI, Salesforce DX. Once that is done, in the second one, you're going to create a Visual Studio Code. Like, you're going to set up your Visual Studio Code environment, just like me, whatever I have. Okay. Then finally, you're going to create a component in the third step. That's it. It's 3 steps. If you already set up your environment, you can directly go to this third step and follow the steps there. You'll be able to create the hello world component. But if you haven't set up, then let's go to the very first step. And again, if you want to get the score, you can create a playground. You follow the steps and then you'll get the password and attach the password and all. But otherwise, simply go to this URL, install. So note this URL, HTTPS developer Salesforce SFDX CLI. Okay, let me open this URL somewhere. Let me close the tabs to the right. Okay. 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 So here you have option because I am logged in with my MacBook Pro, so it is showing Mac OS. But for others, if you are from Windows system, it will highlight Windows. If you are Linux Windows, you just download for whatever. Like, if you want to download for a specific thing, you can also click that and download for like your Windows x64 system or x86 system, whatever it is. I don't think anyone is still in x86 system, but yeah, you can download the CLI and double click it and let me download it for Mac OS. So once you download it, it is currently downloading for me. Okay. So once you download it, you can open it and you'll see this step. Simply say continue, next. And let me know in the chat message once you are done with it. Okay. Let me know in the chat message once you're done with it. So this is the only step in your very first step. So once you're done, you can check SFDX update or SFDX command. Very good, Abby. You have your CLI installed. Awesome, Ravi. So you keep posting. If I see many number of dones there, I assume that most of you people have done it. But I'll give 3 or 4 minutes for you to finish the step. It will not take much time. Oh, not possible now because I'm doing my office laptop. Sure. Yes, Samar, I understand that. Yeah, that's the reason. Even I'm very curious for that web-based Visual Studio Code IDE, okay, which we call it as Code Builder. Let's see if it comes. We don't have these kind of problems. You can even work on your office system. Abby, you finished the quick start module. That's awesome. Great. So someone asked, what is Trailblazer DX22? So basically, Salesforce does 2 major events a year. It does a lot of other events like World Tours and all, where it shares knowledge, but it does 2 major events. One is Dreamforce, which probably everyone might be knowing. Dreamforce is where customers, partners, developers, all of these people come together at one place. And there will be a lot of sessions, fun activities, so on and so forth. Similarly, we do something called as Trailblazer DX, which is more technical. But Dreamforce is like, it's a combination of fun plus sessions plus announcements plus a lot of other things. Trailblazer DX is all about mainly technical announcements. If any new tools are coming up, so you can find all those announcements in the keynote. And then you can also attend sessions. Now, this time we are doing both in person as well as virtual. Like 5,000 people will be attending there, and then rest of the people can join Trailblazer DX virtually. And the registration is absolutely free. So you register in person. It's like a ticket. It costs. There is a cost for it. Earlier Trailblazer days, it was like no. Probably we should thank lockdown for that matter. So it's not good for us. So we got something virtual, right? So virtually you can join, which is free, and you can attend the sessions. You can directly hear from the product managers on like no, what's coming in a specific product. For instance, if you're looking for code builder, you can directly listen to the product manager and see when the code builder will be ready and what are the features they can expect out of the code builder, so on and so forth. Likewise, you can learn about all of the clouds. Okay, there are a lot of sessions scheduled in Trailblazer DX where you can learn a lot about it. Done. I see a lot of dones here. So once you are done with CLI, and the next step is set up Visual Studio Code. So again, it's a very simple code. You need to open Visual Studio Code. You can download it from here. Okay. So when you open this link, so from your Trailhead module, step 2, set up Visual Studio Code. If you go a little down, it says install Salesforce extensions for Visual Studio Code, where first you are going to download and install Visual Studio Code. If you click this link, it will take here where you can download the VS Code. Once you download it, okay, double click it. It's going to install your Visual Studio Code. Let me know again. You can type in here VS Code done. In chat, if you type VS Code done, I assume that you have completed installing Visual Studio Code. Better type VS Code done. VS Code. Let me type first. I'm done with VS Code. Cool, cool. VS Code done. Cool. Awesome, awesome. Great. Once you are done with VS Code, you can open the VS Code. You just open the VS Code, just like me. You might not be seeing all of this. Let me close this folder. You might be seeing the same screen, just like me, once you're done with Visual Studio Code. Okay? You should be seeing that screen. So you need to search for Salesforce extension pack. Copy this. Go here. And in these extensions, you search for Salesforce extension pack. You can see Salesforce extension pack. Select this. And here you might be seeing a button called install. Just click on install. So with that, you should be able to finish off the Salesforce extension pack. So if you are done with Salesforce extension pack, you say install. Awesome. And following Trailhead modules is really easy. Whenever you have some input, right, we show it in red color here so that you can easily copy. Double click it, you can copy it. Okay, you can double click it, whatever. Just drag and select. You can do that. Awesome. Once extension is installed, what it says is you ensure your development environment is ready. So how do you ensure? You can just type SFDX in the command palette. Okay, you can open the command palette using Command Shift P in Mac OS or Control Shift P in Windows. Okay, let me close this. You can go to Explorer. You can do whatever. Just close this. and say Command Shift P. And if you type SFDX, so it should show these SFDX commands. Okay, which means your extension is successfully installed. Now we are only left with the final step, the last step, create a hello world IT component. So here, the first step, what you're going to do is you're going to create a project. So let's create a project here. So what you can do is type SFDX. Just copy SFDX from here. Everything written in red, we are going to copy it. Okay, and paste it. Just copy it. Copy SFDX from here and go open the command palette and paste SFDX. So you can see like no SFDX commands here. So whatever I've done earlier. So let's say create project. So before creating project, also see what is the name of the project. Better copy this name. Okay, this one you want to give. So you can go here, Command Shift P, SFDX, and then say create project. Okay, select all the default options, standard project, enter project name. Here you enter the name, which you copied from there and paste it here. And just simply press enter. And it will ask you where to save the folder. Again, it's up to your choice, wherever you want to save it. I don't want to keep it on my system, so I'll put it on desktop for now. Let's create project. And then click on create project. So it creates a project. Let me know if you have created project. Neha, you're not getting any commands. Is extension installed? Don't worry. I'll give a tip here. If you're not getting any commands, what you better do is you open the command palette and type reload. Okay, there is a command called developer reload window. Okay, you just select that command. It reloads your environment fully, after which you should be able to see your SFDX. Okay, after which you should be able to see your SFDX commands. Even if that doesn't work, quit Visual Studio Code once and come back. Okay. Yeah, that's how we can solve. Even for all other people, reload windows is one of the important commands. If you don't see any of the SFDX commands, you once do it, it's going to reload the complete. It's going to refresh your environment. Okay. Now that we have created project, you should be able to see your files here. Let me know if you are able to see the files. Project created. Just type project created if it's already done. Awesome. I can see that you are really fast. You have completed the module. Most of you people, I can see that. Neha, if you are still not getting, better you quit the Visual Studio Code, come back and repeat those steps. It should work. After restarting the VS Code, it takes too long to load the commands of SFDX. Is there any problem with it? Generally, there should not be any problem unless your system memory is little weak or so. Worst case would be to restart system, which is not necessary in general. Okay, so what you can do is you can restart the system and see if it still doesn't work at a later point of time. Good, project creation is done. And because we are not doing in Trailhead Playground, we need not do it. You can authorize an org. Okay. Now you can authorize whatever org you want. If you have a developer edition, you can authorize an org. In our case, we can create a scratch org. So what you can do is you can go open command palette and create a scratch org. This is one option. Create a default scratch org. Okay. If you already done, otherwise you authorize. If you know any developer edition credentials, better is authorize org. Authorize org. Now select this tab. Okay. Select project default and give some alias name, my org or something, and press enter. It will take you to the login screen where you give your developer edition credentials, any of your developer edition credentials. Once you give credentials, it will ask you to allow. Okay. So after which you can I can give some credentials. It's already there. So I'll not do it here. Every time I open VS Code, it show me create project every time the project is open. Open VS Code, it shows me create project every time. What exactly? I did not get real question, but yeah. So every time you open the command palette, if it is showing better, if you are seeing that, then you better remove it once and then close it. Okay. So that you can just remove it, and whatever command it shows the last command, so that it will be easy for it. You have to remove that last command it shows. So for instance, I'll say open default arc. Okay, but again, if I put command shift arc, it is going to make arc one. So just remove it and then it should work. That's not a big deal. It's only for your purpose. You type some other command, it's not going to show you. Create a Lightning web component. So once you're done with this authorization, any developer edition arc, you can follow. So, or if you are working on the batch with the playground, you can follow that. And create a Lightning web component. It's very simple steps, same set of steps. You can use Command Shift P and open SFDX, and you'll have to say SFDX create Lightning web component. Just copy hello world. Copy hello world. Say Command Shift P, SFDX, and select create Lightning web component and paste your hello world and press enter. Rest select all the defaults. That's it. Your component will be created. Let me know if you are able to create the component. If you anyone of you stuck here, let me know as well. So once you create the component, the good thing about the Trailhead modules is you can see a copy symbol here. Okay. So what it says is in the HTML file, hello-world.html, copy and paste the following code. Just copy this code. Okay. Go to the hello-world.html file. You can find it here, or else from left side, you can click this hello-world.html. You replace the entire content with that new code. That's it. And save it. So it's the same code. It has a lightning card. In the paragraph, you have something like this. That's it. Similarly, you copy the JavaScript code. Go back to Hello World, your Visual Studio Code. Go to helloworld.js. Remove everything from here. Paste the JavaScript code and save it. Finally, metadata. You also copy this. Go back to Visual Studio Code. Open the metadata file and select everything else, remove it and paste it and save it. In fact, you can also see save all button here. So you can keep changes, do the changes all together and save it from here as well. That's it. So everything is saved. Then you can simply deploy it. So here you'll be using command deploy source to org. As I said, your playground is considered as a developer edition. Okay. If you have authorized one of your developer editions, that's also considered as a developer edition. In fact, developer edition is equivalent as your production org. So when you are working on sandbox or developer edition or playground, you're going to use SFDX deploy command. So you can use this command here. So that command you can find in your, when you go here, when you right click your force folder. Okay. I haven't authorized any of the orgs, but yeah, when you right click this, you can find that deploy command here. which if you press is going to deploy it to the org. And the last step would be add component to app and Lightning experience. That I would leave it to you because I think it's almost time. It's pretty simple step, which we have done actually while doing the hello component. If you can go back and watch the video on how to create the hello component. It's exactly the same steps which are listed here in your quick start. Okay. Finally, let me also do it while you do it here. Let me do it very quickly in 2 minutes. I'll select one of the orgs. So here I can set one of the orgs as my default org so that I already connected my org. I've authorized some of the orgs here. So I can use one of the authorized orgs. I can use like SFTX config set default. So I'll select one of the orgs from here. Okay. Now this is org 2021 is my default user. So I'm in this step. Your previous step, this step. If anyone's stuck here, I'm in this step. I just authorized my org. Okay. I have already created a Lightning web component.
ఓవర్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఎక్కువ మాట్లాడతారు వాళ్ళకి మొదటి నుంచి అదే ఓవర్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఓవర్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ తోటి అవుట్ చేసి లాంచ్ చేయడానికి అయితే
Okay. Okay. So here you can go. So I've completed these steps actually. What I've done is I've authorized my org. I've created the Lightning web component. The only step is deploy to your playground. So I've used my developer edition, but I can use the same command, deploy source to org. So if I go back here, go back force, and now I can see deploy source to org. When I do this, it's going to deploy my source to org. See that it has deployed the source. What next? Add component to app in Lightning experience. So now I can open that arc which I've just created. If I go here, see I just selected this button. You can also use Command Shift P and open default arc. It opens the default arc. Now it opened. What does it say? It asks me to open the sales app. Okay, I can go here. If you don't see the Lightning experience, you can switch to the Lightning experience. I can go here, open the sales app. And what else? I need to edit page, home page. Okay. So if you go here, settings, and say edit page. So this is almost a redundant thing which we already done, but I want to do as a part of this patch. So we are doing it here. And here you can drag the hello world component and save it. So it says you find your hello world component here. Yes. Drag it somewhere, wherever you want, and save it. So it's going to ask you to activate it. Just activate it and assign as org default. So see here steps, it says activate it, assign as org default. And simply save. Okay, that's all done. refresh the page for new component. Go back. You can see your hello world component here. Okay. So this is how we can complete the batch. Finally, authorization is done. Good job, Abby. What are main extensions needed to install? If you have installed Salesforce extension pack for now, it is great. As you go forward, keep working on those things. You can install more extensions like Code Tour and all. There are different kinds of extensions that you can use, but Salesforce extensions is more than enough. And anyone stuck anywhere, you can direct message me. You also have my email ID. If it's really urgent, necessary, you can always ping me. I can definitely help you out. Well, I hope I answered most of your questions. I made sure that I can answer your questions on the go, because down the line, your questions will be stacked and you'll forget the question by the end of the session. So I made sure that I answered those questions in between, though it is a little lag for some of you. That should be fine. LinkedIn profile, definitely I'll share. So here is my LinkedIn profile as well. Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you for that. Thank you, Sudha. Thank you, everyone. I enjoyed every bit of this session today. I hope you also enjoyed. And this is only starting point. Okay, we just started with Lightning Web Components. You can learn a lot, and wish you a great success in your career as you go forward.